And it should be recording. Salwete Miyamiki. This is another rambling kind of video. I know I did one fairly recently, but I figured I'd make another one because, this is to commemorate my last day of work. I'm currently on the last shift for my 2 weeks that I put in. So I figured I'd just make a video about it, just talking about stuff. For those of you who didn't know, I currently work for the next 2 hours as a security guard. So, guarding over all sorts of places. We do contracts for all sorts of stuff. I'm a supervisor, so I do a lot of the training. We have a really, really high turnover rate, as it turns out. And, as the year went by working here, I kind of figured out why. But, it is what it is. I was kind of just sitting here for the past 15 minutes trying to work up to pressing the recording button. Not because being anxious or anything, but honestly just because, I'm just so tired. You may or may not hear it in my voice, but it's a different kind of tired, if that makes sense. Because, you have that kind of tired you feel when you've been up for a long period of time, or after working out, or, maybe you're just in a bad mood or something like that. But this is one of those things where it's, when you tell yourself, all right, this is the end of work, I'm going to be on a bit of a break from work for a bit, and then all that relief just rushing over all at once. It was, it made me very sleepy, as it turns out. The sun is coming up right now, or at least it's trying to. The sky's no longer pitch black. It's starting to turn blue with that orange on the horizon. So, it's nice and pretty. It's a very relaxing kind of thing. I'm not entirely sure what to talk about this time either, honestly. Just gonna be rambling for whatever I see or hear. I know there's this ambulance that's been flashing red and blue over at the intersection behind me, off-site. They've been there for the past maybe 2.5 hours, something like that. Hopefully it isn't serious, but right across from the police station, that's where I'm working currently. So it's a nice, relaxed kind of location, thankfully, for my last shift. So I don't have to be all gung-ho and chasing down crackheads for 8 hours. But, I guess this is a point where I'm going to be looking for new opportunities and stuff like that. And, when it comes to opportunities, sometimes you're not entirely sure if it's the opportunity you want, the one that you end up shooting for. And that's okay. Even people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, sometimes with well-established careers, they're not even sure what they want to be when they grow up. So, no guilt or shame in not knowing when you're in your 20s, or even younger. So no need to stress over it. Money comes and goes. It is what it is. Some people, they work because they want to have a job that is something that they're passionate about. They want to make money from it. But me personally, I'm in a different camp where it's not that you want to make money from your hobbies or passions, because for me it feels like then you would be working, and I don't want to work. which sounds kind of weird, but think of it like this. I don't want my hobbies and my passions to become work. I want them to remain my passions and hobbies. When I work, I want it to be work. I don't want to be sitting around just waiting for the shift to end, clocking in, clocking out. I need something to do, personally. I don't like, that's one of the reasons I'm leaving this job, is that it's so boring, and also somewhat dangerous and risky, oddly enough, at the same time. Because, I mean, we have to deal with people who are potentially hostile, sometimes armed, and sometimes they're very confrontational and aggressive, but when we don't have those moments, it's just waiting for the clock to tick down. And I don't think that's any way to live. No. If I can't make the most of every minute and at least feel like I've accomplished something, then, well, I don't think that's time well spent. So, that's just how I view it, anyway. Thankfully, I still have coffee left for the rest of my shift. Definitely gonna need to be awake and lively because I'm training someone. Hopefully I'll be able to leave a lasting impression, since it'll be the last person I'm training here. But even if they only stay a couple weeks, at least hopefully I'll be able to make a good impression. Not for my sake, but, for theirs. That's one thing that a lot of people probably take for granted, is good impressions. It's not always about how you look, but the impression that you leave on them. Because making a difference in someone else's life is, well, I think it's pretty important. Yeah, my coffee's cold, but thankfully I made sure it was cold before leaving work. It's not cold because it's been sitting in my humid car all night. Yeah, when it comes to doing things, I mean, there are so many hobbies and things that you can do to fill the time, and it can become very difficult when no options that present themselves outweigh any of the other options that present themselves. So you may end up feeling a little bit lost. But maybe that's a good thing. I mean, when you're lost, some may consider it the scenic route, others may consider it the senile route. But I think it's an excuse for some adventure, maybe some mischief even. I guess it is a good thing that I didn't pick up a whole bunch of stuff for security, because, well, I guess from the beginning I never really intended for this to be a career or anything long-term anyway. So, I didn't get a body cam and all sorts of other extra stuff, because, I never really felt the need. Would it have been nice for some situations? Yeah, it would have been pretty nice to have something like that. Well, not sure what else there is to talk about, and I already said that. So, at this point, I'm kind of just repeating myself, but then again, it is rambling, and I give you a little bit of forewarning that that's what this is going to be anyway. So, I don't know, just a bit of food for thought. Speaking of food, actually, I left, I still have one whole sandwich left. The last sandwich, I guess. Yeah. I've been trying to eat a lot more recently. And I'm hoping that I'm not going to feel guilty about it. There's no reason to feel guilty over eating, especially if your goal is to gain weight. Then feeling guilty over eating would be kind of a problem. It's getting in the way. You getting in the way of your own goals is probably the biggest threat to achieving what you want. So do what you can, I guess. But if you do have goals long term, then you better have short term goals as well. I mean, since I want to gain weight, why would I beat myself up over not gaining 5 pounds per week? Or, something excessive. I'm not gonna get to my goal if I just shoot for the moon and beat myself up over not landing there. Yeah, a lot of people probably forget to set realistic goals. You can have high expectations, sure, but, even if you don't hit the mark, that doesn't mean you're not a good person or a successful person. You can't really measure success. You can't quantify it either. You may say someone's successful because they have a bunch of zeros at the end of their paychecks or something like that. But, if they're dying inside and they hate themselves, then I don't think I would call that success. All they have at that point is just excess. Well, this is completely unrelated as well, not even tangentially related. Whenever you're talking, right, you're having a conversation with someone, and then something pops in your head, and you're all like, oh, I want to talk about that, even though it's not even remotely related to what you were thinking about or talking about. Yeah, that's a fun problem to have. Makes things interesting. But, you shouldn't always just think about what you're going to say next when having a conversation, because, when you're doing that, you're not exactly listening. But, anyway, going back to my completely unrelated point, recently a friend of mine, we were listening to, I remember a few weeks ago, maybe even just a week ago, I think, I shared a song that I really liked. It was it's a weird song, don't get me wrong, but I shared it with them, and I was surprised because they actually ended up liking it. And then we had a phone call later where I was complaining how that song wasn't showing up in my music feed. And all these other songs I didn't care to listen to were in the music feed. So I'm like, why don't they just play my song? They don't play the one I want. And so it kind of became an inside joke to listen to the song, but also it was unironically listening to it, so we were both just jamming out to it, and we were trying to watch different YouTube videos and whatnot together, because it was just a fun thing to do. And the video surprisingly just kept popping up. So every time I ended up scrolling through, she would just say, like, ooh, there it is, we'll play it again. And we ended up listening to that song, I don't know, freaking like 5 times during that one call. Yeah, sometimes it's the little things that bring you a lot of joy. Whether it's watching the sunrise, which is currently what I'm doing, in spite of the fog that's trying to block my view, or, just goofing around. Maybe it's an inside joke, maybe it's just something silly to laugh at, even if it doesn't make sense. Yeah. I think the picture that I picked for the background for this one, that was some downtown stores or whatever. I think it might have been 4th of July or something, so the parking lot just completely cleared out. And it had just rained, and there was a double rainbow, and that was pretty cool to look at. There was also a cat that loved to hang around in that parking lot. It was a stray cat. Had very pretty fur, surprisingly. No collar, though, so it was definitely a stray, not a runaway. But I figured it would be a smart idea, because I was shopping in a bargain bin, and I saw that they had cat food. So, naturally, I nabbed one of those cans, did the checkout, and then I decided to keep it in the glove box to my car. To this day, it is still in my glove box. So I just have cat food in my car. Yeah, even when I returned to that location, though, never saw the cat again after that point. So, was it a smart idea? Maybe. You never know. Maybe I'll see a stray cat again someday, and I'll be able to give him the cat food if it isn't, horrendous and expired and bad. I don't know how well those keep up, but I'm just gonna leave it in my glove box and just hope that it doesn't create a horrendous smell. I also have some Altoids in there, so if the can pierces at any point, well, if I want to have fresh breath, I might end up having salmon breath. I don't think that would be very, very good. And having my breath smell like cat food. I don't know, maybe it'll attract the cat femboys or some garbage like that. Yeah, but no, haven't seen any stray cats, so still have the cat food. Yeah. One problem I've been having recently is with my water bottle. It's the straw one. I think I mentioned it in the last rambling video. Whenever it gets even kind of warm, like 80 degrees out or something like that, at which point, I'll be melting alive in my car. Become a sous vide reptile or something like that. Yeah, the water bottle decides that it's going to just leak everywhere from the top. Like the water will just come out the top and just spill everywhere, which is just epic when you're trying to take a drink and then, a minute later it looks like you pissed yourself. Not a good look when walking around professionally in a security uniform. Yeah, but that just happens sometimes. Sometimes in life, you just look like you pissed yourself, and you're just not prepared for it. So, luckily that didn't happen this time because it's an overnight shift, so I don't have to worry about things heating up and then having the water travel up the straw and spill out because the pressure regulating hole that is sealed with the stop, that thing's just not doing its job, I guess, or something. I don't know. Still nicer than the last water bottle I was using, though. At least with this one, it's a 50-50 chance if I'm going to spill water on myself. With the other one, it's a 100% chance you will spill water on yourself, no matter how you drink. Yeah, I don't really like this humidity in my car, though. It's not very pleasant. Oh, the police just let off their siren. I have a feeling that they kind of just do it sometimes as signaling to the other police officers or something like that, just to prank each other or something. Because sometimes they go off for literally no reason. Oh, also completely unrelated, the trailer that's right next to me, let's just say it was rocking last night, and it was kind of awkward because I was talking with with one of the guys. Uh, he was working this location before I showed up, so I was taking over the site, and yeah, they were making noises in the trailer, unpleasant, not very family-friendly noises, and we were trying to have a conversation about, I don't know, fucking Star Wars or something. Yeah, that was kind of awkward. Pretty neat though. They were trying to play music to cover up the noises, but it was kind of painfully obvious, and it's not really like we could go anywhere, because it was right by the gate where he was gonna leave from, so we ended up just going for a walk. Luckily the site's big enough to be able to walk away from something like that, but oh my, heaven forbid it were anywhere else, then maybe it would have been a different story. Yeah. They have a third-party security camera company that likes to set off the siren for literally no reason. Like, we'll look at the camera, we'll point to our backs and say, "We're security, we work here," and then they'll set off the siren anyway, after we do that. So they definitely know. And I was able to confirm this theory last night. It was just a game theory, but now it's a definite, right? I was walking by one of the buildings. Oh, another cop just did the siren thing again for no reason. Yeah, I was walking by the buildings that, because this is a construction site, right? So they're unfinished, and one of the cameras is down there, and the camera set the siren off. And so I started, like, basically shouting at the camera like a crazy person, not even knowing if they can pick up audio. And I said something along the lines of, "You flash that siren one more damn time, I'm gonna shine my light right in the fucking camera." And just to be incredibly petty, they waited for me to walk like 50 steps away from it, just out of sight of the camera, and then they set it off again, and then I walked up to it and shined the flashlight, just to be a punk, not trying to blind them or anything, obviously. It was just, all in good fun, good mischief, and when I did that, they they set off like a little whoop, right? Not the full siren, just a little beep kind of thing, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, they definitely know what they're doing. Like, they're just being punks at this point. And then I just kept walking away, and they tried to set it off again, and I'm like, all right, you whatever. Yeah, so yeah, they definitely like pranking the security guards. I think some of them do it for fun, but other times they're just being absolute bogers. I don't know what other term to use for them. Maybe like cave dwelling freaking trogs or something like that. I don't know. I just thought of the bargain section again for some reason. It's one of my favorite places to go. All right. Don't judge me, okay? They got some crazy stuff there sometimes. I know they had some snacks there recently, and I was like, ooh, I want to pick up some snacks, but I don't want to pay too much, because no, screw that. So in the bargain section, they had some weird looking snacks I'd never seen before, some like hipster or organic garbage or something, but it was on sale for, an actual reasonable price that time instead of the retail price. So I figured I'd try it out, and my goodness, one of them was actually surprisingly good. It's a ripoff of Skittles. It's called like Giggles or something like that. I know it's kind of silly, but I got the sour version. And luckily they don't use gelatin, so I'm fine with them. They use Caranuba wax, so alright, whatever. Yeah, so it was the sour version, and what they do for their sour version is they don't have like a sour powder, like sour Skittles. What they did was it was like a it kind of like a glaze of sour, if that makes sense, right? Like something you'd put on a donut or something like that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, whatever. But it wasn't like the powdery stuff that leaves all that like dust and sour stuff at the bottom of the bag. It was like coated onto the thing, which is pretty neat. They ended up tasting pretty darn good, but unfortunately you don't get a whole lot of bang for your buck, and it also has way too much packaging for no reason. It has like, I don't know, freaking a bag for every bag or something like that, instead of just having one big bag filled with them. Okay, there's a hair on my mic and it's really bothering me. Sorry if you're hearing some bumping and whatnot. Okay, got it out. Yeah, so they were surprisingly good. That end of story. Yeah, that whole tangent that I just went on for the past like 3 minutes, all talking about a snack, and the verdict, good. Yeah, so tune in for my next food review. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so I tried those. Those are pretty good. I like doing adventurous things sometimes. It doesn't have to be a big scale adventure, alright? We're not climbing Everest every day. Sometimes it's as simple as trying something new. Because, I mean, if you never try new things, you end up very opinionated in what you like. And that's no way to live. It's a very boring life. It'd be like living your whole life only seasoning food with salt and pepper and never venturing out into anything else. There are hundreds of spices out there. May as well try a few of them, right? Spice up your life. I remember for our senior project in high school, that was actually something that I put in my capstone. The capstone project, I don't know if other schools do this, but basically you have to answer some sort of question or something like that, and you have to write a paper and do a presentation or something before you graduate. And for ours, the question was, I think it was either how does one live well or what is the good life or something like that. I can't even remember my paper, which is kind of sad because it's not something you ever want for something you write if you're passionate about writing. If you're passionate about writing and you forgot something that you wrote, well, maybe it didn't really give a whole lot of impact on your life, especially if it's already such an important topic as that. But one thing I do remember from it was one of the sources I used was actually My Little Pony. I know, kind of silly to throw as a capstone scholarly source or whatever, but it was the episode like Spice Up Your Life or something like that. I think that's what I put in there, yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. High school is just a cringy experience. You'll say and do a lot of stuff that you'll regret, but you know, c'est la vie. You're not the same person you were in high school like 3 years later. If you never change, then, well, maybe that's a problem. Sometimes people say, I don't need to change, but if you're not changing and progressing as a person, then either you're putting too much work into work and not on yourself, or you're putting too much work into things that aren't important. That's kind of what I think it boils down to. This sunrise is kind of underwhelming right now. I'm waiting to actually be able to see the sun or something. At least it's bright enough out that I won't need my flashlight anymore. But, whatever the case may be. Going back to writing, I actually went back through some old poems that I wrote, and compiled them into nice little paper, I guess. Some of them I liked a lot more than others, but you know, that's kind of how it is. Not everything you make is going to be the same as everything else you make, so you're going to like things about yourself more than others, but that's whatever. Doesn't mean anything you do is invalid. Yeah, well, I'm almost out of coffee. Alright, well, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. I'm kind of running into a wall at this point, so, you know, I won't ramble on too much longer. Your time's valuable, so may as well respect that. And my time's also valuable, so may as well respect that. But I'm glad you were able to share some of that time with me to watch this sunrise, which, even if you can't see it, it's a moment to share. So, well, that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in to some dude in his car rambling about whatever. Be well, stay colorful, be adventurous, and ta-ta for now. Wos amo, amiki.